Hey everyone, my name is Wes, and welcome back to another episode of Terror Talk where I discuss creepy clips online. I created this original horror music to add to the video, and I hope you enjoy it. Be sure to leave your own comments, and when you're done watching, check the description if you'd like to listen to my music without the commentary. Now let's get into it and have some fun.
This happened in July of last year. My house was having some pretty big problems, and I was left without any power for several days while it was getting repaired. I worked from home, so this was a major issue, and I ultimately had to rent out an Airbnb to stay at for a few days.
When is the longest you've ever been without power? Let me know in the comments below. For me, luckily I've never had power lost for more than a few hours, but man, it is the most aggravating thing to me when I don't have power. It is the most aggravating, and I don't know what it is about it, but it just really pisses me off. Does it piss you off? Let me know in the comments below.
Until the power was back on in my home. I don't live in the biggest city, so there weren't too many options for Airbnbs near me. The closest one that was at a reasonable price was about a 45-minute drive from my home. It was in an even smaller and secluded area of the city, which was often referred to as not the best section to live in. I was only staying for a few days though, so the amount I was saving was worth it. When I arrived, I went right inside and basically straight to bed, exhausted from everything going on with my house. In the morning, I got up early and started setting up my laptop and workspace. Just before I had to start work though, there was a knock at the door. I debated whether or not to open it because it wasn't even my house, but thinking it might be the host or something, I went up and checked who it was. On the porch was a man, maybe early 30s, and covered in tattoos. He didn't look like an Airbnb host, or even like a salesperson.
Would you answer the door under these circumstances, not being your own house and some random 30-year-old guy covered in tattoos? I definitely wouldn't. I would just walk back and not let the guy bother me.
Unsure why he was here, and not really wanting to know, I figured I'd leave it. I walked away from the door and back to the desk, finishing getting ready and starting work. I had some meetings and a lot of work to catch up on from my absence the last few days. I don't think I left the desk until 8 p.m., and even then, I was considering going back to work after going out and picking up dinner. Only a couple minutes after I got back and started eating though, another knock came at the door. I immediately got up and went to check who it was, and I wasn't surprised to see it was that same guy from before. What could he possibly want from me this late in the day though? I was actually more bothered than I was concerned. But again, I just walked away from the door and went back to eat my dinner. After 30 minutes, and around 10 p.m.,
Yeah, this asshole is getting really annoying now, isn't he? He's like being so persistent about getting this guy to answer the door, and it's like, dude, just screw off. Come on.
decided to work for at least another hour. I was tired, but the work had to get done, and I knew putting it off until tomorrow would just make me more stressed. I put my headphones in and tried to focus for the next hour. I got a lot done, and once I was satisfied, I finally closed my laptop for the night. I hadn't realized how dark it had gotten. I guess my laptop screen was the only light I had on. I went to the front and flicked on the light, and a chill instantly rushed through me. Going down the front hallway were faint but unmistakable shoe prints. Looking around, they were all over the place. even going right up behind the desk I was working at. Terrified.
That would be terrifying, wouldn't it? And he used the right word there, terrified, because you know that someone was in your house at that point, with all the footprints going around. That would be truly scary, knowing that an intruder had just been in the place where you're staying.
I slowly followed them down to the back door, which was cracked open. I don't even know how to describe what I was feeling. It was just pure horror. And only moments after this, footsteps started coming down the stairs.
Oh, what would you do in that situation if footsteps started coming down the stairs like that? What would you do?
They were slow and careful, but when they got to the bottom, a man peered out into the hallway and looked directly at me. It was that same man, easily distinguishable with all the tattoos and everything, and he looked surprised to see me walking around. But that surprise quickly turned into rage. His face had no emotions other than irritation and anger. I was going to try to say something, but no words came out, and as my heart started pounding in my chest, I turned right back around and sprinted out the back door. I ran through the backyard and into some trees far behind the houses. I sat behind a tree and pulled my phone out, starting to dial 911, but quickly closed it when I heard footsteps running toward me. I didn't expect them to follow me, but luckily they passed by without seeing me and continued to run out into the dark. Once I got in contact with police, I went back to the Airbnb and waited for them. I gave a detailed description of the man, and they actually found him the next day. It was confirmed to be him by the tattoos I had noticed, and he'd actually broken into several homes in the days leading up, doing horrible things to those who lived in them. I don't know what he was planning to do to me, or why he seemed to have left me alone at first, but I can rest easy knowing he won't be able to do anything anymore.
Dang, that's pretty crazy, isn't it? The guy had been breaking into people's homes and doing bad stuff to the people that lived there. Like what? Who knows? But that's pretty crazy. And I wonder how this guy got into his house in the first place. Like, did he leave the door unlocked? Because most of the time, if you leave the doors and windows locked, people can't get in. So the guy didn't mention anything about leaving the door unlocked in this particular story. So how did he get in? That's my only question there. And why didn't he harm the guy when he was walking around like he did with the other people? That's my other question too. But yeah, I thought this was a good story. And it just goes to show that you need to always make sure that your windows and doors are locked, no matter if you think you live in the safest neighborhood in the world. Anything could still happen. And when you're at night alone in your house and you hear those weird house sounds, doesn't it make you think that someone's trying to break in? And if you just have your doors locked, you don't have to worry about it really. So, in most cases. But yeah, I thought this was a good story, and I hope you enjoyed my commentary. And I will see you in the next video.